In this workshop, we have chosen to discuss about the protection of the environment and biodiversity, because this is one of the principles of the UNESCO Declaration in Bioethics and Human Rights, but above all because environmental protection and care it's something necessary and mandatory today to protect the planet, our common house. We have chosen Thailand because it's a country in which Buddhist tradition it's very lively, and because in their culture they have a lot of sensitivity around the protection of the environment. And on the other hand, this is a meeting in which we try to interact with a cross-cultural perspective about how the different other religious and cultural traditions can interact.
I think this is a very unique, exceptional opportunity for scholars from different traditions to come together. There's nothing else like this in the world in terms of allowing people this cross-cultural conversation in a way that is deep and gives time for thorough reflection. I not only learn a lot about other cultures, but I find that the exchange, the dialogue that we're having can really move all of us forward towards a better understanding of the major bioethical issues that we face today as societies, but also as a humanity.
Well, I think the protecting the environment is one of our main existential roles these days, because the corruption of the environment is a big threat to humanity in general. So I think that regardless of any cultural differences and the way we can justify the protection or justify the intervention in the environment,
I'm sure it has a deep effect on how I see the environment. So when I am a Muslim, obviously I see everything as God's creation. It's all reflecting the characteristics of God. So it reflects the beauty of God, it reflects the wisdom of God, the intelligence, His abilities, His power. So everything around me I see as a sign of God, or an ayah, as we describe it in the Quran. Every verse of the Quran is also an ayah. So it means it's an evidence or a miracle or a proof that God exists, and it's a way to know God.
What I learned most from this workshop is that I find that there are two positions that are something I haven't thought of before. Is that there are those who basically find that we need to save the environment because it's good for us human beings. And then there is also another position that environment is important, is valuable in itself without even it being good for us. So there is a little bit of a discussion on that, and it came up to be very interesting.
I've gained an enormous amount just from the various perspectives. For example, thinking through the difference between Buddhism and Hinduism, thinking about the relation with the Abrahamic religions, and the Tao. Particularly learned a lot from the Taoist speaker. So I've had quite an education and the opportunity to have lots of conversations and build friendships.
A lot of new ideas is what I'm taking away from this conference. I think that the dialogue that we have had together has caused most of us to want to add to our papers, to add to the conversation, and we're thinking a little bit more than just idealistically, to say what is practical in some ways, so that practicality is beginning to make its way into the conversation.
Yes, from Buddhist perspective, the nature is very important, because without nature, there is no place for you to survive. So that's why, from Buddhist perspective, we always look at the nature as a part and parcel of yourself. So in order to identify yourself, who you are, it has to be identified based on your surroundings. And that's why we always say that the self and surrounding is so important, that that is how you identify yourself. And that is how you identify your responsibility and how you live in this world with the nature, with harmoniously.
So one concrete result of this workshop would be a publication that we hope would come out after we collect all the papers and with some kind of responses from the different authors, and then we'll get it published as we have done previously in the last 6 or 7 workshops.